43.
42. 41.
40.
39.
Number 1.
39.
38.
37.
36.
35.
34.
33. 32.
31.
30. 29.
28.
27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
21.
20.
19.
18.
17. 16.
15.
14.
13.
12.
11.
10. 9. 8.
7.
6.
5.
4.
3.5.
3.
2.
1.
Hey, Rocky, you want to see me pull a show out of my hat? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto. Good evening and welcome to the Mouthwash Talk Show, a minty fresh take on politics. And we got a show for you tonight. We're going to be talking about property taxes, assessments, because you know what? We had to mail in our property taxes this weekend, or you got charged 10% penalty. And man, I'm already paying enough. I don't need to be paying 10% more. So, so you want to stay tuned for that. We have Jenee Trimble coming on, and she was the whistleblower down in Monroe County, which is Bloomington area. So you can imagine how that went. And so she's going to come on. And, it's funny because this is show number 246. And I think she was actually on 234. So we've touched on this before, but some doggone it, people aren't listening to her. But I did see her post a picture with Braun Beckwith and somebody else. Oh, Rod Bray. 3 very important people in our government. So I wonder how that went with them. So I'm going to bring her on here in a second. But first, I want to play a commercial that I was asked to do by Channel 40, Kelly Vaughn and the Moselle Sanders Foundation. They do Thanksgiving meal every year. I've been doing it for a bunch of years, since like the 60s, I believe. It's a long time tradition. I've actually been on their telethon before as one of the MCs. It was a good time. And I was honored that they even remembered who I am. So I'm going to play that commercial here. This is what's going to be airing on the Moselle Sanders channel and Channel 40 during this month. So, hey, listen to what I'm saying here on this commercial here. Listen to what I say and donate some money. Come on now. Hi, this is John Schmitz for the Mouthwash Talk Show, a minty fresh take on politics. And I'm here to ask you to donate to the Moselle Sanders Foundation because they provide a Thanksgiving meal for many, many people here in Indianapolis. They've been doing it for years. And I just want to reach out to you and say, hey, donate some money. We need all the help we can get here because, it's hard for people to make ends meet these days. So go ahead and donate some money to the Moselle Sanders Foundation this year. You'll be glad you did. All right. Hey, Moselle Sanders, they're doing some. And, on that note, we don't serve as many, but the Mars Hill Art Center will be having a meal for, I think, at least 80 families. So that's grown. We've done this for 3 or 4 years now. And I think we started out with like 30. Then I know we did 50 last year and the year before. And this year it's going to be at least 80. And what that includes is it'll be the lunch. We used to have the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but now it's boiled down to so we could serve a little more families because we had quite a bit more that wanted a meal. It goes up. It goes up every year. So we have that going on. And then we also do a Christmas meal too. So that they get a meal. They get a turkey. I got to go get 80 frozen turkeys from Jeff Dugdale at Dugdale's over here. It'd be like WKRP, frozen turkeys falling out of the back of my truck. Come on. So anyway, Jenee, how you doing tonight? I know
I'm doing great.
We were backstage talking about anything but what we're going to be talking about this show. And you're sitting there going, what are these people talking about? Which is rare because we usually don't have anybody backstage before the show. So it's, and then we don't talk about what the show's going to be about. So it's, you saw the chaos You saw how the sausage was made here on the Mouthwash Talk Show. It is good. It's a little bit like county assessing, isn't it?
It's better than county assessing.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah, tell our audience a little bit about yourself. And I know you've been on our show before, but some people catch them, some people don't. So we probably have some new people on here.
Okay, so I have a background in real estate. I've been a property manager for 17 years, had my real estate license. With that background, that's how I was able to be hired in to the assessor's office. So I was hired into the Monroe County assessor's office in 2023. I was in there for 1 year, got my level 1 certification for being an Indiana appraiser assessor. And during my time in there, I just started seeing discrepancies, state code violations, just doing things that I had learned through the certification that we weren't supposed to do. So I just started asking questions, like amongst my coworkers, and several of them, there's a core group in there that's the ones that's committing the fraud. And then the other employees, there's 14 total. Several, they felt the same as I did. It bothered them. It wore on their conscience, but they were afraid to come forward out of fear of retaliation and being fired. So after a year, I transferred into the auditor's office. I didn't want any part of it anymore. But during my time in the auditor's office, it still was eating at my conscience that you may not be participating in doing it anymore, but you still know about it. So that's not an excuse. You're just as guilty. And after 4 months, I finally came forward. And that's when all hell broke loose.
That's when the story started, right? You'd think that they'd be appreciative. And, this is maybe a little like Doge. Remember Doge? I was thinking about today. Yes. What happened to Doge? It just sort of went away. But you saw how much kickback these people got on cutting, on actually fixing this stuff. It's like people just want to keep wasting money. But here we are. We talk about property taxes that are out of control and wasting money, but you want to save. At some point, the rubber's got to hit the road here. We got to have some savings, and we got to have some better assessing properties here, values. So, but that's one thing. I want to play a video here, and then the panel's coming on here. So, and then this is about the property tax thing, and this was about the property tax rally. I think it was in March, and then the teachers union, Red for Ed, I don't know, both teachers union, Red for Ed, same thing. They were down there marching about them cutting it too much. So the one group was marching. So basically, they made everybody mad. So let me see if I can get this straightened out here. Let's get to this part, and then I got to do that, and then I got to do this, and then I got to do that, and this.
Hundreds of homeowners are demanding state lawmakers reset property tax rates back to the 2021 levels. Supporters of Governor Mike Braun's property tax cuts rallied at the State House today. News 8's government reporter Garrett Berquist shows us how property tax hikes have hit their wallets.
State lawmakers already have floated at least 2 alternative property tax relief proposals, but the homeowners who gathered here at the State House say that's not good enough. These taxpayers say they've had enough.
This here is on top of the year before, so now you're looking at 30-some%. And, you have to draw this from somewhere, and, your insurance has gone up on your house.
Keith Troutman says he's paying nearly $2,600 a year more in property taxes than he did in 2020. He says that's a problem for retirees like him.
The market is down if you have an IRA or any other type of investment, so you have to pull it somewhere, so you just end up pulling more out of your IRA. And, the old, how long are you going to live? You don't know.
Governor Mike Braun's original plan would have reset property tax values back to 2021 levels. The state Senate removed that provision over concerns it would hurt municipal services and schools. The House Ways and Means Committee is currently considering other options, but it hasn't yet put them into the bill. People at Monday's rally urged lawmakers to put the 2021 rate reset back into the bill. Braun spoke near the end.
Government should be most powerful at the local level, but they cannot be growing their enterprises faster than the economy grows as a rule of thumb.
Braun's original plan would have cost local governments and school corporations more than $1 billion a year. These IPS music teachers had a previously scheduled event just yards away from the rally.
Right as I started playing, someone shouted at me, "You're taking our property taxes." And I just thought, what are you talking about? Public bands, school bands are taking your property taxes. It just seems like there's so much misinformation being spread about these tax bills.
The bill's supporters say fears over impacts to schools and services are overblown.
We managed before, and when you have excess money, you don't have to manage as well. And so it forces people to be better managers of their allocation.
The House Ways and Means Committee has until April 10th to move the bill out of committee. The chair says he wants members of the committee to consider more options before the bill goes to the full House. At the State House, I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
There everybody is. I thought I pushed the wrong button. Okay, now I got to get everybody in the right spots.
There's Brad. Hey, Brad.
We don't
How's it
want
going?
Hey, Brad. Brad. Hey, real quick before we get started, guys, since you're on here, guess who's going to pick up a press pass for the State House tomorrow for the show?
I saw your post.
Yeah, it was Veterans Day today, so I was like driving down there. I'm like, wait a second. And the bank's not open either because I had to get some stuff notarized, which is under the Secretary of State. If you didn't know that, the Secretary of State is in charge of the notary. And when I asked Holly Sullivan about that, she acted like she never heard of it. It's probably pretty important if you're running for Secretary of State. And she'd already been Secretary of State for like a couple of years. So it was not a popular question when I asked it. I thought I was a Democrat for a second. They were trying to stump her. But anyway, hey, assessment. So Jenee, my house here in Marshall in 2019 was assessed for about $45,000 after we appealed it down from 105 because when we bought the house, it was basically heroin squatters had been in it and it was worth very little. I paid $30,000 for it. So I just get to have you guess how much it's assessed for now in 2025. And I'll give you a clue. It went up $14,000 from 2023. And then, so guess my 2024 assessed value. You're an assessor. So what do you think that should be now?
Yeah, you're probably close to, I would guess you're probably close to 300,000.
Tiffany, what do you think? What do you think you're up there in Fisher's high rent area. What do you think?
You're in Mars Hill. I know you've done some additions. You bought it for how much?
32.
30. What are you assessing it by, like 280?
Okay, you say 280. Jenee says, Lucy, what do you think this theft is going down on me?
$1 million.
Okay. Oh, and by the way, I do have the government shutdown guesses that we had the other day. So we'll do that. Brad, what do you think they got me assessed at?
Like maybe $6, $7.
Just $6, $7 or 100?
Yes.
Yes.
So Jenee was the closest. We're at $328,000 now. So that's what they've assessed before. And y'all know how the city loves me. They just love me. They decided, and I gladly pay my taxes. So it's really fun. So Jenee, tell me how did they get from 45K? Tiffany mentioned some of that. How did they get from 45K to 328 so quickly?
Yeah, it's the entire tax assessment system is fraudulent, like just from the creation, and it replaced the old one in 2002. And if you go back and read the co-creators articles, like from the late 90s and the early 2000s, every article they were talking about how commercial was bearing the brunt, homeowners weren't getting taxed enough or frequent enough. So every article was about they wanted to hit the homeowners, and they wanted to change Indiana to be 100% market state. So they were able to do that. And they worked for, before the Department of Local Government Finance, it was called the Indiana State Board Tax of Commissioners. Well, they worked for the Board of Commissioners as the director and the assistant director of the tax review division. So they were the co-creators. They wanted to hit the homeowners hard and frequently. And they were able to change the state coded definition of what true tax value is. Before this current the system, it was 1/3 of like the cost value for building the home. Well, they didn't like that because they weren't able to like every year increase that. So they were able to change the legislation and change the true tax value to equal market in use. So that's what they built their whole entire system upon. Once they built that system, they then went on to create the companies that get paid to do the assessing. They also created all of the education, all of the certification requirements and courses. And they also were co-creators of creating the Department of Local Government Finance that is supposed to oversee them. And in these articles, you'll find one of the owners even brags about 1/3 of the DLGF is now his staff. So they created the system, the agencies that oversee them, and they created the education, everything. And that's who Monroe County uses to assess our properties. I don't know why it went into effect in 2002, but it wasn't until it was like around 2018, 2019, at least for Monroe County, that's when it really started. They started getting more aggressive with their assessing. 2020 hit and there was a natural boom, Tiffany, you would know this. There was a natural boom in the real estate market, but the assessors took advantage of this and they like supercharged that. It was like a double charge. So the practices that they're doing, especially the manipulation of ratio studies and the sales chasing, they have really caused not just Monroe County's, but all of Indiana's housing markets to increase like way faster and way higher than it should.
Yeah, I got a question real quick before you go, Tiffany. I don't remember being reassessed this, every year like this. Is that something that's happening? You mentioned 2018, 2019. I just don't remember getting assessed every single year. And then not only assessed, but the amounts it's gone up.
In 2002, that's when it changed to be every year. I don't know why.
They do it every year. I mean, I don't think they did. I think the process is easier now because you can just look up online and do Zillow or whatever. Before they had to go out and drive around and look at the house.
They're supposed to. They're still supposed to physically visit every single parcel once within a 4-year reassessment cycle, but they're not. And that's something that the Monroe County assessor has admitted on a podcast.
Yeah. So, Tiffany, go ahead. Sorry. I'm just so enthralled with this and I have my own personal questions.
I was, as you were telling your story initially and you talked about sales chasing, can you talk more about that too? Because I just think that's very interesting.
Yeah. So within the reassessment cycle, they break the county down into like 25% each year. So they're required by state law to visit every single parcel once every 4 years. And that's when they're supposed to really pick up like major improvements. Oh, someone added a deck. Someone's, painted their house. There's a big, huge remodel. Outside of that, unless they have like some kind of like building permit that would trigger them to go out and inspect for like that remodel or new construction, they really, your property should only go up every year by what they call trending. Which they're supposed to, the trending factor brings all the properties up to like market. Well, they're adding the trending factor every year anyways. So even if a property's at market, they're still adding that trending factor and putting it over marketing. So with the sales chasing, they take the sales every year and they're supposed to look at those sales to try to figure out what their trending factor is going to be. Well, what they do is every sale, they'll then go and pull up those properties and take a look at it. And so it's not in like the course of the reassessment cycle, but they'll take a look at it. Oh, well, we only had this assessed for 300, but it sold for 350. So they'll go in there and they'll up that one house to match what that sale price was. And they don't look at like the whole entire neighborhood, and it was outside of the reassessment cycle. So they're just like targeting all of those sales. And so that's sales chasing.
So what would that mean for the average homeowner? Let's say you live on a street or you're in a neighborhood and let's say two of your neighbors have moved, they've recently sold their home, and you've been in your house for like 10 years, how would that affect you?
Yeah, so they'll go in and they'll hit the two houses, which then when you really get in a crazy cycle too of like if a house is selling multiple times within like a 5 or 6 year span and it's just bam bam being hit. Okay, they had it at 3, it sold for 350, and that could have been a purchase like out of distress. You know what I mean? Someone, hey, I got to move into Bloomington. I start my job in 30 days. I just need a house. This one's overpriced, but I'm going to buy it anyways. Well, then they'll take that 350, and then the next year they'll still add trending. We'll say that house sells again. Well, the homeowner, oh, well, they have my house assessed for 375. Well, I'll put it at 4. And when you seen during like COVID, everybody was at home. They were getting all that extra pay. People were just like buying houses like crazy. And then people were paying and they were overpaying because they couldn't find a house. You know, by the time they'd get home, an offer was made. So they're just willing to pay whatever. It causes like a panic. But then that neighbor that's been there for 10 years, they'll then go in like the next year or the following year and they'll take a look. Oh, well, we've upped these 2 houses. So now everybody's getting upped. So it just keeps when they.
So my neighbors hate me. My neighbors hate me because of what's going on. It just
speeds up that process of the market increasing because they're just on every single sale, hammering it. And then they're bringing they're bringing the median up.
Right.
When they do that.
Hey, Jenee,
it's quite a.
I've got a really quick question for you, Jenee. What is the cycle or what is the mechanism for when we have a deflationary cycle or a real estate crash and those properties go from, 300 to 200? Do the property taxes go down?
Well, Bloomington, I asked about that. I was like, well, what about, the crash like in 2008? And they were like, oh, it didn't affect us. It didn't affect any of our sales. Like everything stayed the same. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, right. Nothing to see here. So Brad, I have this one up before Eric Faust. He's talking about rental properties. You're a renter, is that correct? Do I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you noticed your rent going up or your landlord complaining about this? Because I know that it gets passed along, and I think for a rental property, it should be 2% increase.
It's double.
Plus that stuff,
it's
right?
pretty stupid right now.
Yeah.
Overall, finding like a regular location, and I'm in a small town, like it's not, there isn't like an apartment. I don't know. There's like one apartment complex kind of a thing. But no, it's it just everything that you guys were talking about. I'm like, we're all just making this shit up, huh? As we go, like we are just in our own concept and in our own way. It doesn't have to be this complicated, I don't think.
Clearly,
I think it should just be small, medium, large. That's how you should do it. That should be it. Just small. You got a small house. It takes less water to put out.
Congratulations to all the homeowners though, because your guys' homes are a lot more valuable, right? Like
they're not more valuable.
No.
They're not more valuable. They're inflated.
Yeah.
I feel like people say with a sense of pride, like, oh, well, I bought it at this price and now it's at this price. Like, So, like, you do have that increase, and it's like you appreciate it when it is almost class-based, but don't like it when it is, monetary-based.
Here's Kelly Calloway, a Marion County resident, $11,000 a year. And I know somebody that has a daycare in Franklin Township that pays $90,000 a year.
Crazy.
That's insane. This is somebody who's providing daycare for the community, but yet we must punish those people. And
when do we revolt? That's what I want to know. When do we revolt? When do we get
property tax rallies?
We need it.
It's already been solved, you guys. Trump solved it. 50-year mortgage.
I know.
No, actually, the
50-year mortgage is great.
Oh, I can't.
You guys are missing it. You guys are missing it. The 50-year mortgage is great.
Wants to be like the training ground for Trump land all the time. Like Rokita, he'll get his little hands on it. Oh God.
Listen,
hey Brad, did you know? I wonder what the property taxes are for the ballroom. Do you think they're pretty high? I mean, 3. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. Some
How is
companies
the
will pay
White House
those.
assessor? Is somebody paying taxes on the White House? But Lucy,
Somebody
go
should
ahead
be.
with the 50-year mortgage. You got excited.
No,
Yeah,
it's being
50.
bought and sold.
Yeah,
by companies now.
I'm at my daughter's
They
house.
own the ballroom.
My Wi-Fi here really sucks bad, but like hear me out on the 50-year mortgage thing. Because if you think about the advantage that you get as a homeowner, it's over time, I mean the taxes and the insurance is a wild card, but over time you locked in your principal and interest. So when I lived in Fishers, my entire house payment was like $1,180 a month. That same house, I looked up the property taxes last night. That same house, my property tax has gone from $1,980 a month as a resident, as an owner occupant, and now it's a rental and it's $5,100. So yeah, I might have gone from $1,180 if I'd stayed there, maybe to $1,280 or $1,380, but that same house is renting for $2,500 a month today. So when you get that 50-year mortgage, you're taking a big chunk of money and you're freezing it. I mean, wouldn't you want to freeze that for 100 years? This is the benefit, for example, of getting an interest-only mortgage. Like, wouldn't you love
Lucy,
to
we
have
know you want
100
those
years?
1913 rates.
Well, I would totally end the Fed because taxation is theft.
Yeah, and the green rectangles are hard to come by.
But I do want you guys to consider that, because the advantage that you get on a 50-year mortgage is it sounds really stupid, and it kind of is. But anything back in during the Great Depression, you had to have enough of a down payment saved so that you could have a 10-year mortgage, because that was all that was allowed. And then the federal housing FHA came in. And housing and urban development, that came in, and that's when we started to get I mean, they probably thought 15 and 20-year mortgages were insane back in 1920. But if you think of it in terms of being able to freeze and get a fixed cost on your housing, well, then any money that you would have saved, I mean, on a $300,000 house, you're going to save about $250 on your house payment doing a 30-year versus a 50-year. So yeah, the interest is longer, but you're still actually frozen. And if you take that extra money and put it in silver or gold, somewhere around year 10, because inflation is going to shoot up the price of gold, you'll probably be able to pay off your house. You may not want to, but you'll have a store of gold where you could pay off your house in about 10 years.
That sounds like a financial plan. Okay, so we've covered that part of it. Now, Jenee, you've uncovered these flaws and these statute violations. So, and I saw a picture that you posted. You were at Owen County Lincoln Day dinner last night.
Yes.
And you had the big three. You had the big three in a picture.
Yeah.
They just looked at you and said, "Hey, she's pretty cute. I want to get a picture with you." And then they figured out what you're about. Is that how that went? Is that how that
I
went?
didn't give him a choice. I was like, I'll be back. They're forming the line. I'm getting in line.
I want to see the picture.
Oh, geez, you gotta. I can't do everything, but I'll try to find.
Who are you in it with? Who are the big three?
Oh,
Micah, Governor Braun, and then Senator Bray. Or Senator.
That's right.
Last time I saw Governor Braun, I was kicking his ass on the debate stage.
That is correct. You did. You mopped them guys up. First time I ever ran into Lucy Brent was on that debate stage, and she was like, "Man, look at this woman go. She's making them boys look foolish." And the one guy short. But yeah. So what they say? Did you run it by them? I'm sure you did.
Yeah, and I only had a few minutes, but I can talk fast with my ADHD here. Like I just introduced myself, told him I was a whistleblower from Monroe County. Micah told him, that I was going to run for assessor to try to get in there and fix some fraud that I discovered. And Governor Braun was like, "Oh yeah, that's great. I mean, great." He was like, "Thank you." And I was just telling him, that they're committing multiple state code violations and that they're committing fraud, that assessed values increased by $1 billion this past year. But I told him, listen, Indiana doesn't need any kind of tax relief reform bill. That's worthless. It's not going to do anything. The root problem is the tax assessment system. And I said, it's unconstitutional. I said, it's just as unconstitutional and illegal as the one it replaced in 2002 and be looking for a packet. I said, I can't get past your oh gosh, what are they? The contact forms, like on his website. But I said, be looking for a packet in the mail. I said, because I'll send you everything I got. And he was like, okay, all right. Like, I'll look for it. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's like they say that in public. And then a lot of times they'll say, "Hey, assistant, take this name down and everything,"
Yeah.
and then on their way out, they're crumpling it up and throwing it in the trash.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
But what he doesn't
But,
know, like the others, like poor Mike could tell him, once you let me sink my hooks into you,
it's
now
brutal.
you'll be sorry.
So
You're getting that packet.
What I heard out of that, I didn't hear anything else you said, but what I heard out of that is that you're running for assessor, and now you're running as Tiffany's laughing because she knows it's true. You're running for assessor as an independent, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to get signatures to do such a thing.
Yeah.
Do you know how
Almost
many?
1,000. Almost
1,000?
Well, they
Okay.
say it was like 850-ish. But just in case, I'm shooting for 1,000.
Do you know the deadline for this? Do you know all the stuff?
It's like I have until like July something to have my signature.
Yeah, July 5th, 8th, somewhere. Okay,
Yeah.
so what, our challenge here on the Mouthwash Show, we're up to about 40 viewers. You're bringing a big crowd. We're going to come down and do some door knocking in Monroe County and get some signatures. We're going to, if we got to go down to the college campus or whatever, Tiffany, we'll put Tiffany out on the corner of down by Kilroy's. We'll put her out there at Kilroy's. So you get a shot. You sign, you get a shot.
Yeah, there we go. Brad, we need to put Brad down at Kilroy.
Well, no, we don't want to lose signatures. We want to gain signatures.
No, I was downtown
running
last
as an
night. It
independent?
was fun.
Just my party is giving me a lot of
money, a lot of
resistance.
Well,
Do you have two primaries?
Yeah, there's primaries.
Have you voted in the last two Republican primaries?
I don't know if I know I have one for sure. I don't know if I have two.
That makes sense.
Well, I think in her case, Tiffany, she doesn't want to run as a Republican because I've talked to the vice chair of Monroe County, and I just don't think there's a pathway for her to get there from her personal beliefs. Because we've had this discussion, if you don't mind, Jenee, that because I've tried to broker a little deal with this thing to see if they couldn't do that. But honestly, it's the amount of Democrats that are in Monroe County, because Bloomington is that's the big, so that's where the votes are. Yeah. I don't know if being a Republican is the best way to go. So maybe you could fill us in a little bit more on that, Jenee, and have Tiffany can understand that.
Yeah, it's definitely Democrat driven, but I have a huge Democratic support. It's just about the whole county. I have a large Democratic support just because this property taxes affects everybody. This isn't even a party issue. Everybody down here, they want relief, they want help, and they don't seem to care. They're not really concerned with what platform I'm going to run. There's just been a lot of opposition and.
Yeah. So what I know is what you've just explained to us tonight in a short time here. I can already tell you know what the heck you're doing. This isn't something that you just dreamed up. Well, I think I'll run because I just want to be in a parade. And no, this is something that you have a passion for, fixing a system. And I'm an Austrian. Schmitz is Austrian, and Austrians are like system based. We love systems. We want systems to work. We want system. If they don't work, it just makes me crazy. But so that's what I would like. But I would like to see people run for office that actually can do the job, that aren't so concerned with their daggone party. I see Lucy, and I get it. Just let's get the work done. We have so many different.
I just want to get in there, fix it, and just do the right thing.
Yeah. So I'm going to entertain some more questions from the top row up here. So what do you got? Come on, somebody. I'll come up with more questions. I will.
No, I want to know, seriously, is there a path forward for people to take back our properties and the ownership of our properties? Because clearly we don't own the properties. We're simply paying rent, and the rent keeps going up. And so, Governor of Florida, he said, hey, it's really ridiculous that we keep paying this. There are properties in Indiana that have been in the same family since Indiana was a state for over 200 years. And yet, if they miss a few $100s or a few $1,000s every 6 months, their great grandfather's legacy is ripped from them.
Yeah.
So
and
what does that mean for a path forward?
like similar to what you're saying. I had several calls.
Jenee, have you ever heard of patenting property, patent, of a land patent? This is something that I heard about in the 80s, actually, because my mom ran around with a crowd just as cool and crazy as the crowd that I run around with today. So as a teenager, I went to these seminars, and this old guy from Ohio came over and he said, look, you've got the land grant, and that's from like President Grant or Monroe or something, but you have this land grant that goes directly to a citizen. And it was actually a sovereign form of ownership that he called a land patent. So he had land patents, and he said that once he was able to patent his land, that it was no longer of a class of property. He actually held title that was superior to what the state could claim. Now, I, being very skeptical, even back in the late 80s and early 90s, was trying to get proof of this. And I actually wrote the US government Bureau of Land Management and asked for some documents. And I could say this because I never did it, but man, I was a crazy 20-year-old. So I had written and I'd gotten the underlying patents for where Eli Lilly on the south side of Indianapolis manufactures all of their insulin. And so my plan at the time, because I was, totally naive and dumb, my plan at the time was to walk into their boardrooms, slam it down and say, I patented this land, get the fuck out. And then I would have made sure that insulin was free.
And then all the diabetics would have died. What the hell?
No, they would have. Well, I would have taught them to manufacture their own and to use berberine and goat's rue, because that's where metformin actually comes from. But there is, this was going on back in the early 90s and in the late 80s, as people were going around patenting their property. Now, you can do a lot of things, but then being able to actually enforce them in court is another thing. And actually getting an honest judge to follow the real law is another thing. So I don't know what we can do.
Yeah.
I think one step that we can take as citizens right now, and this is something you have to spread like an MLM, neighbor to neighbor, like rope your friends into it, is to figure out how to make it easy for somebody to understand, how do you appeal your property taxes? If everybody did it, we can clog up the system.
Yes.
We did that. We did that like 2 or 3 years ago with that property tax rally. And I literally 6 months ago had somebody say, oh yeah, they just got to mine now. So it did. And ours, actually, we did get our appeal. We got money back because they were
use the bureaucracy against them.
Yeah. Well, I had an open building permit for like over a year because the city kept red tagging me because they hated me. And so it took me like a year to build my house. And so they tried to assess me for the full $300K. And I'm like, I'm sorry, folks. So my lovely wife, Lisa, she got them. They got them good. It got them for the interest too. Yay.
Excellent. Well, okay. So I don't want to take the subject off too much, but this is property tax related. I think I mentioned last week, I've been doing a lot of research on the log cabin rule. Jenee, do you know about the log cabin rule in Indiana?
Does it involve syrup?
No, it does not. And if it did, it would be Vermont maple syrup or Canadian maple syrup. Although I hear birch trees and walnut trees are even better. Anyway, the log cabin rule in Indiana is that you can build your own home with your own hands with 0 permits. Now, I think that county by county, they try to add on to this, but
can't do it here.
The raw law in Indiana, and I'll go find it here in my notes, is that you can build without permits, and the only thing that they can come in and inspect is the septic. So septic, sewer, however you're dealing with raw sewage, because I mean, that really does create or could create a public health crisis. So my plan on my little 3 acres down in Washington County is I'm planning, and people laughed at me last week and I had to laugh at myself, this may not be feasible, but I'm planning on going and getting, logs from the trees that I have. And even if it's only like 10 feet by 12 feet, I'm going to build myself like a little log cabin. I can chink it up with my clay soil. I'm hoping to do some sort of cob structure, like sand and clay and lime, and only use things on the property, like genuinely not bring in anything, no shingles, no nothing. And then when they try to raise my property taxes and say that I have structures, I'm going to countersue them and say that all I have done is rearrange the atoms on my property that previously existed.
I don't, Lucy. If I saw you walking into my government office as a government official, I would freaking close the door. I would think, no, we're closed. You
They
should have
put
heard
me
the
on the
moose out in
plan
front and told me, no, we're not here.
They put me on the plan commission and they regret it. They really didn't have
They
much of a
shouldn't, though. I
choice.
mean, they shouldn't regret it because you're going to come up with a good idea and probably save somebody's life, money, and happiness. So, okay, I got the
Well,
list here.
yeah,
I got the
go ahead.
list of,
All right,
so our friend Andrew Horning, who is on, he's building a timber frame on his house, on his property, and I think he's got the frame part up, but I saw that he had posted he needs a little help on the roof. But anyway, he's like almost Notre Dame here because he said 40 days the government shut down. Brad said 31. Lucy said yes. Tiff said 32, and I said 30. So me and Tiff, we were way off. But
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
actually looks like it's going to be about, I think tomorrow is going to be it. So it'll be about 42 days. So Andrew Horning was on it here, so anyway.
And they're trying to collapse the hemp industry because people would rather, take hemp gummies than drink alcohol and kill their livers. So the alcohol industry, I mean, Rand Paul really stood up to them, but this is an issue.
Yeah.
My brother's
So,
in here.
wait,
What-
back. We got to go
what
back to the
happened with that?
reservation here. We got to go back on the reservation. Yeah, look,
I'll
you
tell
got
you
Brad's
later, Brad.
attention on the hemp stuff. So where are you at in your complaints? And is anyone even listening so far?
Well, so still working with the Attorney General's office, and they reached out to the Department of Local Government Finance, who was, all of a sudden they're like, hey, we had no clue. She's not communicating with us, which they're the ones that I initially reported to, and they completely ghosted me. And they were like, there will be no investigation, completely shut me down. Now, all of a sudden they're like, oh no, we're more than happy to take a look at everything. So in
other words, a slow roll. They're giving you roll slow.
So I finally, still in the works. I responded to the Department of Local Government Finance with a 32-page response letter. Every file, like all the files and things that I have, sent that to them, and still in the middle.
So can the general public find this stuff? Or I know that you had sent some things before to me. It's very detailed. Is there a place where you have that posted, or?
Some of it, and I actually just got a response for my civil torts that I have with the county, and they had just submitted their amended motion to dismiss yesterday. So I have to take a look at that and deal with all that crap. And a lot of the stuff, like you can see, like online, like with the civil torts, there's some things like some of the legalities is pulled into that. But on my Facebook page, I mean, I've pretty much posted. I mean, I've posted a lot.
So if you go to your Facebook page,
Yeah.
and because I
And
know
then,
that
like
you
the albums.
you have quite a bit of detail on this, and that's why I think you'd be a good assessor. You're not afraid to go into the details, and you do a very good job explaining on how it is supposed to work. Now, one of the concerns anyone would have when you're talking about this, because our local governments have already spent all that money that they've jacked up. It's like putting cooked spaghetti back in the box here.
Mhm.
How are we gonna get back down these spending levels in and obviously this SB1, I don't even think takes effect until 2026 anyway. So it can still even keep going up for that time period. I think we need an exit plan here to go with the reassessment plan. Or something, but it just seems like nothing gets fixed.
No,
I mean, it just keeps going out. Everybody complains. Nothing gets fixed.
They keep getting raises,
Oh yeah. Monroe County gets their 3% raise every year. When I transferred to the auditor's office, they put me in the claims department. So I audited every claim and cut every check. And oh my God, like they should have never put me there either. I seen where the
I was
money
talking about Congress though, like
and
state reps and
there is a lot
hate those
of excess
spending,
waste, training, and travel is ridiculous. I mean, they could shave these budgets down. People, they cry like, oh, you're going to take away from our schools. You're going to take away from law enforcement. No, that's not where this money is going.
No,
it's ridiculous.
Overhead. I just had an idea that maybe how we could solve this issue. I think, Brad, you're going to like this. We're going to raise the overdrawn book fee up 500%, 5,000%. So if you have an overdue book, you're gonna have to
we
pay.
don't have one.
What?
Yeah, we got rid of late fees.
That's the problem. Now we got to charge all these property
that's the
taxes
problem
because
with
you're
America
not doing your
right now.
job.
Yeah.
We got rid of our late
If I
fees.
get in there though, I'm going after. I want to sue the Department of Local Government Finance and the company, the assessing company, which is also the co-creators of the.
So
I
if-
go after them.
So say if you were elected assessor, would you be able to pick your own company or would you be able to do it in-house?
Yes.
Or,
Oh yeah.
so-
Nexus is fired.
Ooh, I
They're
like it. That's
fired, and everybody in my office, pack your bags, clear your desks because you're gone.
Oh, you got other people lined up, or I mean, you know, sometimes what happens when the dog
Yeah,
catches a
I've
car?
got some things on the back burner on the down
Okay.
low.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, wow, man, you
Yeah.
you got something
I've
going.
got
there,
a
but
team that.
I
wants
just want to
go
know
in
when
there.
it's time. I want to give you some very valuable advice here on how to get your signatures. So when they have this primary, you have one of your people with a sheet right there ready for them to sign when they come out. So when I was doing this, people would go in and they'd see only one if they're voting Republican or Democrat, they'd only see one person, and sometimes none. So when you're standing there going, I'm going to run as independent, they come out and they sign right away. I mean, I got like 90 signatures in an hour.
Yeah.
Just every single person. Well, there's nobody on my ballot. I said, well, I'm here.
Yeah.
So that's
I'll do
one way to do it. And I'll come down and get signatures for you.
I'll do it.
We got 2,300 in 1 week out at the Marion County Fair. So
Oh,
I know how to get signatures. So we are going to, and the other key is have them all in 2 weeks before the deadline. So
Mhm.
they can't screw around, because that's what they end up doing to me. They just threw out signatures till, I couldn't, they just kept throwing them out. They threw out 35% of my signatures.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it was,
wow.
Why are there all these barriers to run?
Well, you know,
For
we don't want a
assessor.
crowded ballot. We just don't want too many people on the ballot. No.
Yeah. For
Tiffany,
assessor.
Tiffany, explain that look. Like, what,
Hey, I'm just eating my Cheerios.
yeah, making faces.
Well, I was listening to your question
Whose
because
face at least
I'm a
like
good.
Brad, you already know it's fixed. Just what are you arguing
Well,
about?
well,
You
look
know,
at,
I think somebody like Jenee is in an interesting situation because, she believes that she's found some malfeasance and she wants to upset the establishment. She's just said she's going to remove people from their jobs. So, yeah, I could see the powers that be probably scrutinizing the names that she puts in and making it very, very tough. Because
Yes.
what happens is,
Yes.
you said the Republicans were giving you a hard time. The Democrats obviously don't want you to win. You have to run as an independent. And sometimes, I'm going to sound like Lucy for a second, between the two parties, there can be this symbiotic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
uniparty.
You mean
Definitely
collusion?
bringing in
Collusion to
bringing
steal from
Collusion.
taxpayers, I think is the word you're looking for.
Collusion.
So
There's
I think bringing
Party
in
of power.
somebody who's independent,
power.
unaligned, and unencumbered, it's a threat to everybody. It's a threat to the establishment. It's a threat to people, to the party that could pick up the seat. So it's definitely a threat. So I ask all that, and what you were saying about timelines and strategy. Do you have a consultant, or are you doing this on your own?
I've just been doing it on my own.
You should probably get a consultant, somebody to talk to, big picture, get your strategy. Probably look far, but you should probably sit down with a consultant so that give you your numbers, how many votes you're going to need to win, where to hit doors. Just go ahead and get some good strategy and pay for it if you need to, if you really want to win.
So, Tiffany, I think Mouthwash is her consultants. I mean, look at us go. We've had her on the show here twice in less than 3 months. So I want to give a shout out to Jerry Lopez, friend of the show. Him and Brian Alvey are coming up with a show. I think there's something about ashes, something ash. It's cigars, but not, So they got a little podcast coming out that we probably try to get them promoted on. And they're another good group of people that may be a little sick and tired. I know Brian's maybe he's a guy that can do your consulting. He does for Republicans up here, but hey, he's gotten some people to win, so maybe he's a guy. So
Are there like Democrat consultants? or is that the thing?
Oh yeah, oh my gosh, yes. They got ton. There's consultants out there. You just
I
if
was
you're
waiting for Tiffany to be like, oh yeah, those don't exist because there's.
I saw a Facebook feed for somebody. It's like, we get Democrats elected, blah, 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 blah. Sign up here. I don't
here's
know.
here's Jerry's show. Those ash holes. You got to be careful with that one. So it's got a picture of a cigar on it. So it's ash, not the other thing. So anyway, and we like to, give a shout out to these new podcasters that are coming out. Beyond Formal's out there doing it. Obviously, Witty Reviews is on here before. He's got quite the following, and we both have press passes. There goes the neighborhood. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting this year. So I have time to go down to the State House every day if I want. Just to go by. I'm just going to stand by people, not even say anything.
For redistricting, that's going to be so fun.
Oh yeah. I'm going to go down there. Man, it's so good. You can already see these senators jumping ship right now. Oh, well, I've reconsidered. I've listened to my
There's going to be there's going to be like a protest, like I bet if there isn't one already planned.
It's already no.
You have the invite on your desk?
No. I mean, not yet.
He's an organizer. What are you talking about, Tiffany? He's
sending out the Eventbrite later tonight.
I'm the one signing the checks, Tiffany. I'm the one paying all these protesters to come
he's paying the cats. He's paying the dogs. He's crazy. All right. Well, hey, you know what? I'm going to do something unusual.
Yes.
I'm going to keep this show. Brad, calm down. Calm down. I'm going to keep this show to an hour. I'm going to keep it to an hour tonight. We got 8 minutes. So, Jenee, we'll give you you can throw a topic out there. I mean, we'll do conspiracy theory. We could do whatever you want. You're the guest. What do you want?
Do we have to stick to property taxes?
No, you got. Oh no! What?
Do you want to talk about the lady who was killed entering the home, trying to enter the wrong home?
Oh gosh!
I don't want to. That's too depressing, Tiffany. Please, I don't want to talk about that. Talk about something uplifting.
I mean, I think it's important to talk about it so that people know and understand, because I think that it's really important for our state. It's important. And I want to.
Do we know I have enough details? I mean, I know that there's not enough details, maybe.
I think that when we do get a lot of details and we know more, I think that whatever happens, it's going to reset the expectation and the idea of what a threat is.
Yeah, stand your ground and all that stuff. I agree. I do. I just don't know. It just, it seems very.
Should they be firearm owners or gun owners if they keep shooting people who clearly are not threats?
Yeah, and like I said, we just don't know enough about that. But so, hey, Jenee, pick what you want to pick. You can see me trying to shuffle our way away from that one.
What I could pick that's not going to. Let's see.
Thank you, Perry. I stand with her family. I do.
I don't know. You guys are off topic. I can't think of a topic that's not going to get me in trouble.
So. Oh, come on. Kyle's got a good point here. He says it should be a decision this week. So yeah, Tiffany, we'll definitely talk about it because I think it's important. I think that the couple things it talks about is how people don't feel safe in their own homes with these home invasions and different things going on. And at the other thing, it's like, hey, somebody knocked on my door the other night. I'm like, what's up? Nobody knocks on my door. I got a Ring doorbell. What's up?
Yeah.
So, but
I think that's a sad state for society. And I think post-pandemic, it's gotten worse. We don't go over to people's homes. We don't visit. Nobody knocks on the door. Nobody rings your doorbell. I think we're all very suspicious of people to the point where if somebody, knocks on your door, everybody gets nervous, and we've all run for office and, knocking on doors and engaging people on their front doorstep is really big for what we do. Then you've got Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, door-to-door salesmen, people who interact with people on their doorsteps. And I just think that it's going to be really important, whatever the ruling is, if there's charges brought, I think it's going to be really important for us in Indiana.
That crossed my mind too, door knocking. So when I knocked on a door or hit a Ring doorbell, I would always do it. And I would take 3 steps back and be like back away from it because I didn't want to be right up on the door. I want them to be able to see that I'm here, that who I am, and maybe that's why they didn't answer the door, but I don't care. I wanted them to feel safe. So, Jenee, tell us a subject that you'll get in more trouble. Like you could get in more trouble. I don't even know how you could get in more trouble.
Who are you going to get in trouble with? You've already blown the whistle.
Yeah, really.
Blow the whistle.
You already got the mouth open. When you talk to the Regional Freedom Caucus people, we're going to come down there and knock on so many doors that, we'll get you those signatures. That's for sure. And the votes. Get them all.
I can't think of like the only topics that are going through my head are just like with like the grand jury thing. That's the only thing I can think of. So that's why I didn't want to bring it up. So I'll
grand jury. What grand jury?
Just
We got
the whole deal with the lieutenant governor. That's the only thing I'm sitting here thinking of. So I didn't even want to bring that up. But that's all. And
the video I call that the people that are pushing it all bark and no video. That's how that goes. Let's see. I want to see a video. Brad, wouldn't you like to see the video? I mean,
no, I don't want to see the video.
I mean, would you like to see?
I want to know if, but if it's all on government computers and stuff, how are we not able to track all that data?
Exactly.
That's
totally I know they searched my computer, so. I know they can.
Did they find any IA videos on there?
No, none on mine. I was placed under surveillance, everything.
My whole thing with Micah always brings the chaos. Like this is what, you could see it coming.
Yeah.
So this is what we got.
Hey, I got a subject to change. We should all be going outside and looking north because of some sort of solar storm. We're all supposed to be able to see the northern lights to central Indiana.
Okay, that's
Indiana,
that's a good one to end on, Lucy, because we're going to actually get this done in an hour, and I'm so proud of ourselves.
I'm arguing with Jim Lucas, so I'm going to keep
right now.
On Facebook, it's about the IU professor that was.
I don't
fired.
care. He is the nutty professor, but
Jim
the
Banks
guy
is involved in this bullshit. Come on, it is.
Hey, at least he engages with you. Some of these guys, they will not even. He's not afraid either. He is not afraid.
At least he's willing to verbally abuse you. You should be grateful.
Yeah,
I know.
Brad.
I know. That's,
but before we go, I have to make note of Lucy's, tagline tonight. If voting worked, it would be allowed, and ain't that the truth? That's a good one to end the show on.
Wait a minute. There's so much going on in the chat. There's a whole other show in the chat.
Yeah, well, I know, but that's okay. I've been putting people up there.
So, Brad, what are you and Lucas arguing about?
Well, he's on the Facebook chat, not the chat in ours.
Yeah, it's the IU professor removed from class over white supremacy graphic that lists MAGA in it.
Yeah,
and,
I've seen that.
Okay, and so the teacher was fired or removed from the class, and Lucas is under the impression that that's why is this allowed? This is proof that it was for a class called Diversity, Human Rights, and Social Justice. I think that graphic is like par for the course in something that class would be. Like,
you got 20 seconds, Brad, and I'm ending this daggone show.
No, watch it. Like, just keep,
Yeah, MAGA isn't white supremacy.
Well, no, but it's talking about covert versus overt, and it's exploring different. It's one of those pyramid iceberg things, and I'm not even I don't care what it is. It's how the professor was fired. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah. When Michaela was a freshman at IU, she took a class on human sexuality, and the instructor who worked for Trojans and was on the board for a couple of other organizations, she got this huge poster with drawings of different vaginas. So,
That's good. I think my nephew was going to school then too. So okay, it's 10 o'clock. No, we're done.
But to Brad's point, education involves lots of different stuff.